what this guy was. He had one thing on his mind: to overthrow the king. He wanted to see David ousted from the throne. He hated David, and he tried to cause Israel to follow him in rebelling against King David. And so in response, David's generals went after Shabbat, and he was finally killed. Now this man Shabbat represents all those who are enemies of the Lord Yeshua HaMashiach. Now many may feel that they are not the enemies of the Messiah, but the truth of the matter is that every person who is not in a personal, you better hear me on this one, every person who is not in a personal relationship with Messiah Yeshua is the enemy of God. Who said that? Yeshua. If you're not for me, you're against me. That would be an enemy. And when King Yeshua returns, these people will find themselves shut out from the kingdom because the doors of the wedding supper of the Lamb will shut. And that's it. You can't get in. And that's the eternity of rejoicing and celebrating. That's the whole imagery of the wedding supper of the Lamb is all about. Will you be without when Yeshua returns? You better be certain about that. It's nothing to be to joke about. You know, I was just at a calling hours a few days ago for a young lady who thought it was okay to stick needles in her arm with heroin. Well, she's dead. Of course, that was after hooking for a while in the lines to pay for that heroin habit. Nice young girl. How'd she get hooked? She never was a problem child. She was a nice girl. She's a nice girl. She worked. Just barely into her 20s. Barely. And just decided to, somehow she thought she knew better, she'd be different, that she could put that needle in her arm, and she could only do it once and be fine. Well, guess what? Once you stick the needle in your arm, you're done. There's no recovering from it, unless you give your heart to Yeshua. That's the only way you can recover from that. And so the fact of the matter is, that didn't happen in her life. So, she kept playing with it, one overdose after another overdose after another overdose, and finally, enough to put her in the grave. Very, very sad. And of course, I pray for God's grace upon this child. I do. But we, again, we are in a battle. And we have to ask ourselves the question whether we are with Yeshua or not. And don't take that carelessly. If you are not saved, you will find yourself outside of salvation. On the outside of heaven, on the outside of hope, on the outside of mercy and the grace of God. The good news is that the return of Yeshua HaMashiach does not have to catch you off guard. That's your fault. You can be ready for his coming. He loves you. He died for you. He wants you. His arms are wide open. He's told you countless times, look up, be watchful. Your redemption is soon. It's coming. Don't be like Shabbat and find yourself lost forever. Be saved and have a blessed eternity. So, my question today, in conclusion, is how will you meet the King? You need to think about this. If Yeshua came today, and he could, would you be worried? Would you be found waiting? Would you be found working, or would you be found without? Like it or not, Yeshua is coming again. And so, the question is, how will you meet him? But I guess there's really another question to be asked. Will you know him to meet him? We had a short video that I wanted to play. And she was not ready, so the king is coming back. His name won't be James, and he certainly won't be quoting from the King James. His name is Yeshua, and he is a Jewish Messiah, and he speaks Hebrew.
Yes.
And he's the King of Kings, and he's the Lord of Lords.
And he is the King. He is the
Are you ready? Please rise.